This is 1005 East Hamlet, Sean Logan's house, the mayor of Othello, Washington. Othello, Washington, Sean R. Logan. The planking and the first and last of Jim Logan, Don Logan, which is grandfather, which is 645 11th Street in Othello, Washington, Carper Carousel, and off of Safeco Insurance Company. Long time ago, I used to be Safeco Insurance Company by Studio 7, by the laundromat, where I do my Class A uniform and also my suit and tie, and also my services for providing quarters for the laundromat. I got quarters of rolls, $10 rolls on me, so I can do laundry and make sure it's done and downloaded and submitted, and do it on YouTube, Facebook, and make sure all my administrative rights are paid in full in effect because of the administration rights that the SID, which is the virus 19, and that's COVID-19. And anyways, the discretionary for the days of operation, the hours of operation, be opening up soon. So the services that I got here at 1005 East Hamlet, Sean Logan, the mayor of Othello. We got administration rights. We got People Bus, and that's Kathy from People Bus. It drops me off here, and the GTA service drops me off here at the City Hall in 500 East Main Street, Othello, Washington. Now the green John Deere lawnmower with the catcher with 4 speeds, 4 speeds, low speed, high speeds, turtle speed, rabbit speed, and also the blade, the catcher, and also the motor, the belts are replaced by John Deere Evergreen implement from John Deere Evergreen implement called RDO. My blade, the blade that's put onto the lawnmower, and also the other blades that I got and the belts I got, put onto the motor blade for the belt that's connected to the clutch, and also the services they got. They have to make sure that download all the information, since I got the paint, all the material, the paint, the particle paint, and the original paint that's on the fence line, that was on the fence line that we, and also the swimming pool, the post behind the swimming pool, and also the moderated concrete slab that's poured, and then Jim Logan putting his layers of the of course the layers on top of the cement, the placking inside the cement in the shed that we moved with a forklift, a Toyota forklift, across the street, Mr. Alvarez, 225 10th Avenue, and we got a YouTube, Facebook, we got documentaries, and we got that on the CD in Mr. Taylor and Mr. Andy Miller's office, and the laptop that's in Andy Miller's office. So we're going to swab and browse through all the information. And this is 1005 East Hamlet. This is Mr. Sean put upstairs at 712 West Okanagan, Andy Miller's office. I brought Mr. Agent Man all the way into Mr. 7112 West Okanagan, the prosecutor's office. Mr. Sean Logan don't know. Mr. Andy Miller knows me since birth, out of a vagina, out of the urethra, out of the fallopian tubes, out of Roberta Barela, and known for the fact the residency, address, ballot forms, and registration forms, and my Washington lotto tickets that I purchase, and I buy them at the clerk, and I get the clerk, and I get a receipt with my lottery ticket, because you're supposed to have a purchase of your receipt of the purchase of the ticket. So we're going to download all this information, all the material, the swimming pool, the decking, the screw gun, the bolts, all the information that's downloaded, and submit it and put it on Andy Miller's desk. Since it's all transmitted, it's Mr. People Bus dropped me off right in front doorstep with a pepper spray. I got pepper spray and bear spray because we have neighbors and drug addicts, and also people from receiving units coming back and forth, coming to the doorstep at 1005 East Hamlet. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't corporate socialize with any of the game bigger activities or any of the services. And we got this red Nissan. I use the tree limbs, also the grass cuttings, putting in bags. I'm dropping them up at Cimaron 5 INC, Banquet Party Restaurant Bar, Ajmer Singh Nijjar, Mumu Ganja, Mandeep, Kandar, Hernander, also Mandeep and Nindu, and also their information that's downloaded and submitted. Mr. Sean Logan got a picture of him in the swimming pool. We got the picture of the shed before it was torn down by the Toyota forklift from across all the way to 10th Avenue, through the park at Lions Park, all the way into 225 10th Street. Across the street, Mr. Alvarez, and also the West Side Pizza owner, across the street from 225 10th Avenue on the corner, which is a swimming pool and also parking and assembly service with 9 neighbors. Across the street, the West Side Pizza owner. Anyways, we're going to take all the materials. He wants his refrigerator and all his services, his flooring, his beams, his tile, his 1x1, San Miguel Monticello 1x1, the beams, and also the Vista utility bills, Vista utility wiring, also the plumbing, and also plumbing services from 1 to 51, and the Cimaron 5. On the other side of the Cimaron 5, the doors, the hinges, also the flooring, and incorporates the stair steps, and also the brick walls and remains. And we're going to take this forklift and drive it all the way through Lions Park, and Lions Park all the way to 1005 East Hamlet, Sean Logan's house. And I'm going to go in the backyard. He's going to drive in the alleyway to the back, alleyway into the backyard, and try to remove the shed and give it to Ajmer Singh Nijjar. Hopefully, piece by piece. But you know what? According by an ordinance, common law of factor 3000080300 RCWJ, your recommendations on the hands removing Kennedy's bodies out of the property. With these hands, I will remove Kennedy's bodies off our property and resume it. So we're going to demonstrate. The native animal, the generals, the native animals, with these bare hands, I want you off my, look, your subs off on my chow hall administration office, and I have no recollection report, so I got every right to protect myself. Here's this gun the officer had. Here's the taser he had, and we're going to give it to the administration office, Andy Miller's office, and have all information downloaded. And my neighbor, he loves strawberry patches, like Mantis Bar in Yakima, Washington, and also the Mantis family in Yakima, Washington. Yakima apple orchards, peach orchards, and orange orchards. He loves strawberries. There's praying mantises all over the strawberry patch because I don't like con artists, criminals, convicts, malicious mission. I don't like criminals at all. See, mantises are protecting the strawberry patch orchids. They protect the insects and stuff from what cranberries, because the insects eat all the strawberries. Strawberry Fest in San Luis Obispo, California is a strawberry fest. And mantises is a part of evolution of life. Now, the probability of the CDL-AB and the probability of the general knowledge, the hazmat, the school bus, passenger vehicles, the air brakes, the combination vehicles, tankers, and also pre-chip. The pre-chip is in analyzing data, for one. Department of Licensing, the Department of Licensing always has services available online. And it's Andy Miller at CO Benton, Washington, U.S. Andy Miller. Here's some Gorilla Glass. This is probably the best Gorilla Glass you can get on the market. And it does have Verizon is probably the best place you can get some Gorilla Glass. Verizon is the make 7s, 8, 9s, and 10s. And this Gorilla Glass is always this clear glass is always useful useful. Gorilla Glass is useful for downloading this at 1005 Hamlet. Andy Miller's at CO Bound. Andy Miller, Washington State Bar Association. You know, he likes pictures of Mr. General Manis and his career and his developments, explaining his situation, the part of why he's involved in his residency here in Kennewick, Richland, Pasco, Tri-City area, because Felix Barela loves Tri-Cities. Since Lola is famous in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, LA, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, especially Texas, you know, the ranch and farm of Texas, and the avocado orchards they got big spiders called camel spiders. These spiders are camel spiders, approximately go 35 miles an hour, and they hunt at night. They eat and hunt at night, and they're like owls, actually. They're internal means nighttime, and they hunt and eat at night. And these are camel spiders. And camel spiders are known to go high speeds at night. These spiders look like small animals, but they're spiders. The only way to catch them is when they're in dormant of eating the carcass of its individual subjects at night. And when they're caught, they're approximately, they stand about 1.5 feet, sometimes 2 feet in height, and they run about 1.5. They're about 1.5 tall, but they stand about 2 feet high, with legs, and they're camel spiders. And this is in Texas. In these Texas, they have these camel spiders that hunt at night. They hunt, and they look like they usually eat camel spiders. They eat camels in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia and other island lands and islands like that, like in North Shore or South Shore, those same islands like that, or Puerto Rico or Guam Islands, or the Laos Islands or Japanese areas. They find them in Texas. They're in hot precipitation weathers like Texas, and they live in Saudi Arabia too. They're camel spiders. They're on camels, and they eat the camel, and they eat the birth of the hump of the camel. Sometimes anywhere on the carcass of the camel, they're eating it, and they're camel spiders. But anyways, we're gonna have some download information on Mrs. K at the People Bus. The CDL license requirements. There's a lot of information that don't pertain or don't give you reflect on information. The passenger vehicle, for one. There's 16 seats, and you have your CDL license, or you have your driver's license, your permit services, and then you have your CDL and B in person. You have to have your Social Security card on person. Your Washington Farm Bill has to be on person, pretty much. The Washington Farm Bill is what it is. It says Washington State Farm Bureau, and you got 18 years paid in advance. These are 18-year, whatever the price might be, 18 years in advance. That's what this is, 2020. 2018. So no 18, so that's 2018. This is Farm Bureau 2018, and Farm Bureau is Washington Farm Bureau, Washington SFB.com, and that Farm Bureau membership is for your insurance coverage, for your dental, for your anything. Any in the case might be better. Medicare A, B, C, whatever the case might be. So when Kathy drives around the People Bus, and also the Kittleston Road increments, wants your driver's license, CDL, and all, and you give them that information. The military active duty active duty mugshot. You do get that over with. You got these increments of passenger vehicles thing. Well, now you've now, can a bus carry 100 pounds each of Class 1, Class 3, Class 4, and Class 5 hazardous materials? That's a quick share question for the CDL. And the CDL, can a bus carry 100 pounds each of Class 1, Class 3, Class 4, and Class 5 hazardous material? There's 4 multiple questions. Yes, but only for a short distance. Number 2, yes. Number 3, no. Number 4, yes, but only at night. So, passenger test 1. Can a bus carry 100 pounds of Class 1, Class 3, Class 4, Class 5 hazardous materials? Question mark. Yes, but only for short distances. Yes, no, yes, but only at night. What would be your question? What would be your answer on that question? Would it be yes, but only for short distance? Would it be yes, no, yes, but only at night? You can carry only 100 pounds of each Class 1, Class 3, Class 4, and Class 5 hazardous material. Would that be yes or no? Would it be a maybe, or would it be at night, or just short distances? You just drop you off at Sean Logan's house with 100 pounds of Class 1, Class 3, Class 4, Class 5 hazardous materials at 1005 East Hamlet, Sean Logan's house, do you? And the neighbor, of course, would see you with the 100 pounds of this material. And then you just, of course, all this material of the swimming pool, of course, the tree that's been trimmed because of the sap and the pine needles, or maybe the forklift taking the shed out in the backyard from the alleyway. Or maybe you see Felix Barela screwing the decking and replacing the fence line and painting the fence line, and then taking the material from the home of 1005 Hamlet and putting it in a people bus, or no, or the GTA bus, or the mayor's, of course, the main office at 500 East Main Street with Bonnie and Yvonne Hernandez and Trish at that time, and Mr. Wade, he's the manager of City Hall, but he's not here no more. He's no longer here no more. Now, Sean got a full-time job now because he's the mayor, and he's getting money for that. And that salary, that fee, is no more at that price, so he has to be there like 7 days a week. The mayor of Othello, 7 days a week. So there's no getting out of that one, because Mr. Wade is no longer a manager for the City Hall. And Trish and, of course, Bonnie and Yvonne Hernandez has to be retrained and processed for the future development of Othello, Washington, here in Washington State. And Ms. Carol G. BENZEL, the judge of District Court and process in Superior Court, because we have criminal convicts and services, they come out to the doorway. And I'm fear of my life, because I'm in Andy Miller's office, fear of my life, and have to bring Mr. Sean Logan to the Jim Logan. And Jim Logan gets a landline and also cell phone at 645 11th Street. And then also 225 10th Avenue, taking the forklift into the 1005 across the street, into through the park with all this updated information. The swimming pool, the chemicals, the ordering list of what to buy for cleaning the chemicals, and netting and cleaning the swimming pool, and make sure it's up par condition of ordinances, of course. But let's go back to this question again. Let's review all this. Mr. J. Felice, the attorney at law at 190 East Main Street, Othello, Washington. Mr. McKinnon Law Firm in Olive and Moses Lake, Washington, contacting Brandon West, the attorney at, of course, Spokane Post 10, number 10 Post, and downtown Spokane, Public Defense Counsel, Washington Bar Association. Mr. McKinnon Law Firm, Mr. James McGee, and also the secretary and staff members contacting Brandon West and giving a letter to Carol J. Benzel, notifying that state seal documentation is done long time ago, and that service and fee, I don't have to see, they're trying to take money out of my pocket for a state seal that's already sealed. Kim Wayman, Secretary of State Kim Wayman, is the Secretary of State, and she, for the ballot for presidential primary elections, before the COVID-19 virus broke out, we got the COVID-19 document and conference call with contacting the governor and Kim Wayman, Secretary of State, on YouTube, Facebook. We're going to attach it, PDF, Andy Miller at, put it on Andy Miller at, CO button, Washington, U.S. Activate the live virus into that Nissan. See, that Nissan did a lot of traveling and a lot of material to the dump across the street on Highway 26, which is Sunny Farms. Sunny Farms is pretty big property. Goes into Grant County, Moses Lake, and also Othello, Washington. And also, Franklin County is connected to Adams County, and the harvest, the apples, the orchards, the Majars, McCain's, BBSI, SVC, McCain's, and McCain's expansion, and Lamb Weston expansion on top of that. Now, the C deal is very important. Mr. J. Felice, I gave him all kinds of increments, and he's in the courtroom. That's Mrs. Rodriguez on YouTube, Facebook, Mr. J. Felice, and Mr. Carol J. Benzel. And her address is 425 East Main Street, Suite 400, Othello, Washington, 509-488-3935. Now, Brandon West has conference call before, and then he showed up. And then at that duration time, it took months. And then they have this SVD-19 virus just breaking out. So I'll do my best. Department of Transportation will I pay for my bus passes, and also the Ben Franklin bus passes, and the college classes. You take your college class, and you have your college class on your ID. You get a bus pass. You get a bus pass for all 3 months, for that whole semester. For 3 months, you get free bus pass. You pay that one price, and you have for 3 months. Instead of month to month, you have your college pass, and also your library pass, and your law library pass. In University of Washington, you have a library pass. And when you come on to Gonzaga University, you got a library pass. You got your clothes, your robe, your locker, your fees, your water jug, your canister, and also your laptop and your chargers, and also your swiping procedures for your PDF and downloading Microsoft window. The Washington Bar Association carries implements in the Washington Court rules. The table of contents of the table of contents for parts for application for your rules in general, for the part rules and application, your bench bar branch committee, your commission of judicial conduct, your advisor cast processing time standards, advisory and proceeding standards in general and limited jurisdictions, trial courts in Washington State. You got limited practice of officers, disciplinary rules, and limited practice office LPOs. Limited practice officer rules and professional conduct, LPORPC. Rules of enforcement, limited practice officer conduct, ELPOC. Administrative rules in court, limited jurisdictions, ARLJ. Rules of appeal, decision court, limited jurisdiction, RALJ. Civil rules for court, limited jurisdiction, CRLJ. Criminal rules in courts, limited jurisdiction, CRRLJ. Infraction rules in courts, limited jurisdiction, IRLJ. Index Part V. Rules of general application classification system for court rules. Holidays, filling hearings, time extended, serving and filling in their services. Law librarian, audits, sessions in courts, local rules, filings, effective date, reserved, Supreme Court rulemaking, ethics advisory committee regarding adversary opinions, judicial conduct, court interpreters, purpose, scope, interpreter commission, Code and conduct of court interpreters, telephonic interpretation, Washington State Bar Association purposes, Washington State Bar Administration for Supreme Court created boards and committees, immunity, for sworn statement and lay affidavit, format and leadings of other papers, office reported decision style sheet, citation on published opinions, destructive sealing and reaction court records, court photography and recording news media. Now, this facial transmission jury source list, video conference proceedings, security and handle court exhibits, emergency court closure, access family law guardianship and court recordings, full certified professional guardians, definitions and practice of law board, practice of law board regulations, mandatory continued judiciary education, family law courthouse facilities, jury service postponement, extension disqualification, presiding judge in Superior Court District and limited jurisdiction court district, electronic filings, access court records, court performance audits, request accommodation by persons and the disabilities, waiver in court and clerk fees charged in civil matter and basis of indigency. Rules of Superior Court Administrative Rules, AR, Superior Court Civil Rules, CR, Superior Court Mandatory Appropriation Rules, MAR, Superior Court Special Proceedings, SPR, Superior Court Guardianship Item Rules, GALR, Superior Court Special Proceeding Rules and Criminal, SPRC, Superior Court Mental Proceeding Rules, NPR, Juvenile Court Rules, JUVCR, Rules of Courts of Limited Jurisdiction, Administrative Laws Courts Jurisdiction, Rules of Appeals Decision Courts of Limited Jurisdictions, ARLJ and RALJ, Civil Rules of Court Limitation Jurisdiction, CRLJ, Criminal Rules of Court and Limitation Jurisdiction, CRRLJ, Infraction Rules and Courts Limited Jurisdictions, IRLJ. Amended January 1st, 1974, July 1st, 1974, July 1st, 1976, September 24th, 1976, April 2nd, 1970, January 1st, 1981, May 14th, 1982, January 21st, 1983, amended effective September 1st, 1985, December 8th, 1980, September 1st, 1987, September 1st, 1989, September 1st, 1992, March 9th, 1990, November 27th, 2001, October 1st, 2002. Holidays. Event of legal holidays fall on Saturday. All the courts state shall be closed the preceding day, Friday. The event of any legal holiday falls on a Sunday, on the court shall be closed the following day, Monday. The clerk offices shall likewise be closed such days. Filing hearings. Time extended. Last day filing a document, having hearing, doing the other thing matter in the court shall fall upon when court shall be closed according to 2 of Rule 21. 21 gun salute. That the event filing hearing, that the matter shall extend to the end of the next business upon the court shall upon for business of notwithstanding rule extensions time for trial governor, CR 3.3D8, CRRLJ 3.3D8, adopted February 3rd, 1977. Amended effective October 19, 1999. Service of filing by services. Local rules and file effective date. Supreme Court rulemaking. Statement and purpose of rules. Court provide necessary governance of the court proceeding practice, promote justice by ensuring expedition process, promulgating rules. Washington Supreme Court seeks to ensure. Number 1, adoption amendment rules proceeding in the Barela section. Any Mid-Columbia Library in Kennewick, Richland, Pasco, and Othello says the Barela section. Rule 9. And this is general rules. Rules Reserved Chapter 136 Laws 2000. 2020. Supreme Court ruling. Adoption amendment rules in orderly and uniform manner. Number 2, all interested person groups receive notice and opportunity to express view regarding proposed rules. Number 3, there are adequate notice of the adoption and effective date and news and revised rules. Number 4, proposed rules are necessary statewide. Number 5, minimal disruptive court practice occurs by limited frequency and rule changes. Number 6, rules of court and clear, definite, and application. Number B, definitions. Used rules. The following have these meaning. Number 1, suggest rule means request a rule, change, or new rule that has been submitted to the Supreme Court. Proposed rule means suggested that the Supreme Court ordered published in public. Comment. Number C, request for notification. Any person in group of file request Supreme Court receive notice to suggest rule, limited to certain kinds of rule change. Recalls this state now the name and address of person in group to whom suggest a rule of dissent. One filed resent effective until withdrawn unless notice sent to regular first class U.S. mail. The postmaster. This is an election campaign, presidential primary election campaign. In return for the lack of valid address. Initial rules and change. Person of group submit Supreme Court request, adopt, amend, reappeal the court rule. The Supreme Court determined whether request clearly stated the form required by Section E of this rule. The Supreme Court determined the request is unclear that does not comply with Section E. The Supreme Court, number one, accept the request withstanding the compliance. Ask the proponent of resubmit the request for proper reform. Reject the request without written notice of reasons or reason for rejection. Ethnic Advisor Committee regarding advisory opinion of judicial. That is, the Chief Justice shall appoint Ethnic Advisor Committee consisting of 7 members. Members shall appoint for the 2 years. The 3 should be appointed for the 3 years. Their appointments shall be 2-year terms. The members shall be appointed Court of Appeals, 2 members from the Superior Court, 2 members from the courts, limited jurisdiction, and 1 member from the Washington State Bar Association, administer to the courts. The Chief Justice shall design a designee of one of the members as a chairman. The committees, the chairs, the tables that were installed at City Hall at 500 East Main Street, the tables and desks and laptops and desks and all the furniture from, of course, and the insurance company called, of course, Safeco Insurance Company, now called Pacific Basin Insurance Company, Pacific, at that the administration office here. Now, Mr. Jim Logan, Safeco Insurance, originally at Studio 7 and Laundromat there. Now it's moved to 1344 East Main Street. The Journal of Appeals members of the court members in limited jurisdiction, the State Washington Bar Association, Administrative Courts, the Chief shall designee the members of Chairman. Committee, designee. 1. Designated body to give the advice respect application provisions of the Code of Judicial Conduct, Official Judicial Branch, defining Article 4, Washington Constitution, the Washington State Constitution, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, George Washington House, number 42 in Fred of Washington, our Constitution, Wallace, Tabler, Wallace, and that's 56. There's $10,000 in services, and that services for their Mr. Ken, Chadwick, Reagan, and Natalie, and Nate, and also says, shall the time I submit Supreme Court recommendations for necessary advisable changes in code and judicial code. That's Sackman, Steve H. Sackman, also family practice, and Mr. Stephen J. Felice, the family services, and also Mr. Tabler Wallace, family services in Alfredo, Washington, and Mr. McKinnon Law Firm in Olive and Moses Lake, Washington, family practice. And submitting everything to Brandon West and everything to Carol J. Benzel, and also the court, and also the Mrs. Eddy, prosecutor, Washington State Prosecutor, Administration Office. It says, any judge may writing request opinion in a committee. Compliance opinion issued by committee shall be considered as evidence of good faith by Supreme Court. Everyone and issued in pursuit of the rules shall be circulated administrated for the courts, and request opinion confidential public information unless the Supreme Court otherwise. Administrative court shall publish regular opinion issue pursuit. The purpose of scope of the court services. This scheduled review, publications, the final action of Supreme Court, the consideration suggestion rule by Supreme Court, and of course the proponent, the name of a person of a group requesting the rule change, the spokesman person, designee, a person whose knowledge about the proposed rule and can be provided additional information. Number C, purpose of reason, necessity, suggestion, rule, including whether it creates resolving conflicts with statutes, cause law, and the state seal is already state sealed in the document. It's done a long time ago, and it's taken care of and sealed. And expedite, this is hearing whether proposed believed public hearing needed, if so, why. Expedited consideration, number E. Proponent believes that expunging circumstances justify expedited consideration suggests withstanding schedule for 4th. Consideration, ruled by Supreme Court. This is just a small sample. Small sample, watch state court rules. But these are amendments. These are amendments. These are amendments. These are already sealed and put on black and white paper. There's no going back. There's no debating. There's no arguments. There's no assaulting Felix Barela on the sidewalk at Mr. Eric D. Olson's property, on the property on the sidewalk, pretty much. And there's no law against crossing the street into Jay Felice's office and looking for a lawyer, a private lawyer, family doctor, family surgeon. There's no law against that. And definitely paying for your services in cash, credit card, swipe, whatever the case might be. These amendments, these appendix, these volumes, these amendments, the reasoning for these amendments, these subsections, these amendments, reason for amendments, respond. It was carrying out obligated services for appeal services and effective dates, commentaries, appendixes, volumes, etc. These amendments and commentaries, these application notes, these sections, these reasons for amendments fall on major cases like compare United States versus Sachs, 131 F3D 54, 5th Circuit, 1997. Bankruptcy fraud implicates a violation of judicial administrative order of processing within meaning enhancements, United States versus Malek, 54 F3D 325, 7th Circuit, 1990. Bankruptcy fraud and special procedure in violation of Pacific and a Jersey process, United States versus Lloyd, 947 F2 D 339, 8th Circuit, 1990. Knowing concealment of assets, bankruptcy fraud violates judicial process, United States versus Welch. That's a juice company, fruit company, Sunny Farms. Sunny Farms provides fruit, and fruit provides SVC, a processing plant for any of the fruits and services that turns into juice. United States versus Welch. Welch Company. Welch Juice Company. 103 F3 to 906, 9th Circuit, 1980. Same United States versus Messenger. 107 F3, 1448. 10th Circuit, 19. Same United States versus Bellow. 35 FD 518, 11th Circuit, 1990. Knowing concealment of assets, bankruptcy proceeding qualifying violation of judicial order with the United States versus Sadek. 112 F3 523. Circuit, First Circuit, 1990. Falsely filing out bankruptcy forms does not violate judicial process. Debitor positioning in trust. Also, United States versus Carzola. 105, 3rd, 796, 7th Circuit, 1970. District Court entered enhancement sentence violation of judicial process in case of defendant who filed false accounts in probate court. See that $10,000 in the Tambler Wallace law firm in front of George Washington House goes long distance because of those services. The majority of the circuits, the circuit boards, the Vista utility bills, the Cascade Natural Propane lines, 8131 Social Security Office, which the increments, there's ANCRES, driver's license, and asking for another driver's license back because the police officer stole that, and the Social Security card, they stole that, and also my credit cards, they took that, and the cash, the $7,000 in cash, they took that. So the circuit boards and transmission, the transmission onto the vehicle of the Nissan, transmission onto the vehicle that parked in the garage, and the circuits, these are amendments, effective amendments, sealed documents, served services. There's no change in it. Now, we'll continue with the CDL testing. Can a bus carry 100 pounds of each class 1, 3, class 1, class 3, class 4, class 5 hazardous material? That would be a yes. That would be a yes. Can a bus carry 100 pounds of each class 1, class 3, class 4, class 5 hazardous material? That would be yes. Passengers buses can carry up 100 pounds of each class of hazardous material, up to 500 pounds total. However, there are some exceptions. Divisions 2.3 poison gas, liquid glass 6 poison cannot be carried in any amounts. Explosives or radioactives cannot be carried in the passenger area. While crossing the railroad tracks, you should blink if your bus has a manual transmission. Coast and neutral. You coast on Clearwater and Pascawash here in Othello and Moses Lake Wash on Broadway, right downtown Stratford Road. Do you, while crossing railroad tracks, do you blink? Do you coast in neutral? Or do you downshift into your gear shift, into lower gear to higher gear in your 6-speed or whatever speed that transmission, put your clutch in and put your accelerator on, put your clutch in and shift? Do you downshift? Do you not shift gears at all, or do you on-shift? While crossing roads, you do crossroad. If you cross that railroad track, and you should not shift your gears. You should not shift your gears. If your bus is manual transmission, do not shift gears while crossing raised railroad. The raised railroad crossing shifting gears is on raised railroad crossing increase. The chance that your vehicle will stall or get stuck on the tracks. You don't want to get stalled. Which of the following statements is about hazardous materials are false? If you carry hazardous material on your bus, as long as they are properly labeled. You can carry hazardous materials on the bus as long as you're properly labeled. Which of these following statements about hazardous materials are false? Shippers must take each package of hazardous material with material's name, ID, number, and hazard label. Buses must carry a small arms ammunition label, ORMD. Many hazardous materials cannot be carried on a bus. Shippers must mark each package of hazardous material with material, name, ID number, and hazard label. See, this is Firearms Bureau, this is Social Security Office, this is CDLA driver's license, chauffeur license, and a military ID on service increments, and also your service, your passport, your go overseas pass, your Social Security, your farm bill. I would pick, says, which of the following statements about hazardous materials are false? It would be, shippers must mark each package of hazardous material with material name, ID, material's name, ID number, and hazard label. That would be a toss-up. You can carry any hazardous material on your bus as long as they are properly labeled. That would be the number one there. That would be the question. That would be the one you would select. Most hazardous materials are prohibited on buses. However, certain hazardous materials such as small arms ammunition labeled ORMD may be allowed on a bus if the packages are properly labeled. Now listen again. You can carry any hazardous material on your bus as long as they are properly labeled. Which of the following statements about hazardous materials are false? That would be the one. You can carry any hazardous material on your bus as long as you're properly labeled. That would be the one. Most hazardous materials is prohibited on buses. However, certain hazardous materials such as small arms ammunition labeled ORMD may be allowed on a bus and packaged properly labeled, but don't allow hazardous material on your bus until you first make sure the rules allow it. Charter bus drivers should blank. Allow riders on the bus before departure time. Have conversation with passengers. Remind riders to take carry-ons with them whenever they get off the bus. Allow riders to drink and smoke on the bus. Charter bus drivers should remind riders to carry-ons with them wherever they get off the bus. That would be the one. Charter bus drivers should remind riders to carry-ons with them whenever they get off the bus. Once you arrived at a bus stop, announce location and bus number, and if the aisle is no lower level than seats, remind disembarking passengers to watch their step. Also remind disembarking passengers to take all their carry-on luggage and other personal effects with them as they get off the bus. There's another question. If you're performing your vehicle inspection test on coach, on transit bus, you will have to inspect the baggage compartments and make sure that the baggage compartment doors blank securely. Okay. If you're performing vehicle inspection tests, coach and transit bus, if you have inspected baggage compartments to make sure that your baggage compartment doors are closed, open, lift, or latch. Would it be closed? Would it be open? Would it be lift, or would it be latch? It would be latch. It would be latch. If you perform your vehicle's inspection tests on the coach or transit bus, you will have to inspect baggage compartments, check the baggage component and compartment doors, or on damage which be operated properly or latch securely. Another question. Posted speed on a curve is these are 4 questions. Safe for the cars and buses in the bad weather. The posted speeds on curve is safe for cars and buses in bad weather. Safe for buses in good weather. Safe for cars in good weather. Safe for buses in good weather. All of above. Posted speed on a curve is safe for cars and buses in bad weather. Safe for buses in good weather. Safe for cars in good weather. All above. Now, a posted speed curve is good for vehicles or buses. Which one would it be? The buses in good weather or buses in good weather? Would it be cars or buses? It would be cars. All posted signs are for cars and vehicles, not buses. So it'd be safe for cars in good weather. The posted speed on a curve is safe for cars in good weather. Each curve has a safe designee speed, which is its safe speed for cars in good weather. However, at that speed, a bus is more prone to rolling over, and it may not note that the safe of the vehicle to travel at that speed of bad weather. In particular, a bus could go sliding right off the road. For safety on curves, slow down below the posted speed. If the bus leaning outward on a banked curve, you are driving too fast. Which of the following, another question, which of the following should the driver announce each stop or the destination? The number of the bus, the location, the bus's next time of departure, or all of above? The number of the bus, the location, the bus next of departure, or all of above? That'd be all of the above. When arriving, the destination of immediate stops announces in a clear voice the location, the reason for stopping, the next departure time, and the bus number. Which of the following statements are true? There's 4 questions. The posted speed limit on highway on ramps and off ramps are safe for both cars and buses. The posted speed limits are safe for all conditions. You must be able to stop within a distance that you can see ahead. All of above are true. That is incorrect. Which of the following statements are true? Posted speed limits on highways and off ramps are safe for both cars and buses. Posted speed limits are safe for all conditions. You must be able to stop within the distance that you can see ahead. That would be the one. That would be the one. If you picked any of them, that would be the one. For that, you must be able to stop within the distance that you can see ahead. That would be the one. You should know the safe driving speeds for of course, the vehicle under both idling driving conditions or poor driving conditions. The posted speed limits on curves are safe for cars under ideal driving conditions, but necessarily safe for large vehicles like buses. On a curve, you may have to slow down below the posted speed limit. Another question. Which of the following statements about interior a bus is false? The following statements about interior of a bus is false. Seats must be safe for riders and securely fastened to the bus. If there is a red emergency door light, it must work. If you use outside lights, you do not need to turn on the red emergency lights. And people bus, you don't have to turn those red lights on. You just turn the bright lights and the red lights off. Which of the following statements about the interior of a bus is false? That would be the one. If you use your outside lights and you do not need to turn on the red lights, door lights. If an emergency door has a red emergency exit light, it must work properly. However, you only need to turn it on when visibility is poor enough that you have switched on your headlights, such as the night or in poor weather, snowing condition, raining, sleet, fog. Another question. You must have a CDL with a passenger P on your chest, on your driver's, on your military active AD service. Your service there. You have to have CDL passenger P endorsement to drive a bus that seats 16 or more, 21 or more, 32 or more, or 24 or more people, including yourself. You must have a CDL with a passenger P endorsement to drive a bus that seats 16 or more people, including yourself. To drive a vehicle within 16 or more occupants, including yourself, you must have a CDL with a passenger P endorsement. Next question. Bus accidents usually happen roundabouts, parking lots, highways, Highway I-90, Highway 395, I-82, Newport Highway 2, 171, 26, 24, 25. Bus accidents often happen in parking lots, roundabouts, intersections, or on highways. Which one would that be? That would be intersections. Bus accidents often happen in intersections where there are many drivers and pedestrians don't do different things. Use caution at intersections even if there are signs or signals that are supposed to control traffic. Also use caution at railroad crossings, and you're requested to stop at railroad crossings at all times. When you must complete an inspection report, and this is another question, when you must complete an inspection report before your trip, when you are asked to provide it, at the end of your shift, or only if you suspect a problem. You pull over at the police station and call the police officers, and you want this individual to have a citation ticket to that service for discussion for, or do you must complete the inspection report and just go to your mayor's house and go to the Superior District Municipal Court, or you go to the courtroom and provide service and fill documentations for the first and last name and address, or department license, or you call the FBI or the CIA. What discretion do you do at that point? What do you do on that situation there? Do you call 911 on your phone and have the servant effectively, Mr. Call Carol J. BENZEL, the lawyer for this district for Ritzville, Adams County, Othello, Washington? Or do you call Grant County Mr. Dano Garth, Administration Prosecutor's Office, and Grant County and Frederick Court, Mr. Tabor Wallace or George Washington House, and just call Mrs. Larissa Perez or Human Resource Coordinator Eric Slinger. Or no, Melissa McKnight, that's her aunt. No. You call Andy Miller at CO Benton, Washington. Call Mr. Andy Miller, 509-735-3591. And have this information download on your Microsoft Business UBI number. Of course, Kim Wayman, Secretary. We're going to have to call the governor office in Olympia, Washington. Secretary of State can walk over there, California, and walk over in City Hall, walk into the administration office or Sacramento, the capital. No, you're going to have to serve. You can come and have them deal with the situation. No. What do you do? What do you do on this one? What do you do on this one? You must complete an inspection report. Before your trip, at the end of the trip, when you complete the inspection report, question, before you trip, at the end of the shift, only if you suspect a problem, when you are asked to provide it, which one would that be? That would be at the end of your shift. Okay, reason for end of your shift. If you work in an interstate carrier, you must complete a post-trip vehicle inspection report for each vehicle that drove during your shift. Note that the safety-related problems you found in driving a vehicle or repairs believe are needed. The inspection report will be left next driver know if there are safety-related problems, or also let the carrier know the safety-related repairs are needed. Federal regulations require inspection report to be completed at the end of the day. Use the vehicle 49 CFR 396.11. That's 496 FR 396.11. Next question. Before you start to drive, make sure you carry on the baggage is not under the seats. This is another question. Before you start to drive, make sure you carry on baggage is not under the seats, on the passenger laps, on the seats, and the aisles. Which one would that be? Under the seats, on the passenger laps, and the aisles? Before the start of the drive, you make sure you carry on the baggage is not in the aisles. For one, carry-on baggage you must not be left on the doorways or aisles because someone could trip over or could block the way of the emergency exit. Carry-on luggage must be stowed so it can be restricted to the driver's movements and injure passengers if it falls or shifts around. A traffic light, that means a laptop or carrier, or a laptop carrier, or a laptop carrier. You can carry all that. But discretionary, if there's some kind of individual service there, walking across the street in the crosswalk or walk across the street to catch the bus, and you see an officer sitting there tasing you or assaulting you in a way with his open hand or closed fist, or taking a taser or taking a pepper spray and spraying you in a canister and trying to take you down in a way because you're just standing there with your individual hardware getting dropped off at the mayor's house, or in Kimmersey, you're worried for your life and carrying carry spray because these individuals attacking you in all different directions and services and employees at the staff parking lots or the staff city hall when you're online with your laptop. The traffic light Grant Bridge is green. Traffic light on the drawbridge is green. Should you stop at least 100 feet before the drawbridge? Question. The traffic light on the drawbridge is green. Should you stop at least 100 feet before the drawbridge? No. Should you stop and wait for the attendant's instructions? No. Slow down and make sure it's safe to proceed. Or cross as fast as possible. Traffic light on a drawbridge is green. You should stop at least 100 feet. Oh, no. Slow down and make sure it's safe to proceed. No. Stop and wait for the attendant's instruction. Or cross as fast as possible. It would be slow down and cross with safety. Cross safely. You would slow down and make sure it's safe to proceed is what you would be doing. If possible, another question. If your bus starts to lean toward and outside of a bank curve, you're driving too slow, you're driving too fast, your road is too wet, you have a flat tire. If the bus starts to lean toward the outside of bank curve when you're driving, that means you're driving too fast. If the passenger is drunk or disruptive, you may drop the person off the next scheduled stop and drop them off at the CIF, FBI, CIF, the Marine base, Army base, the Air Force base, or the Navy department. Just drop him off at the Navy department. Just drop him. If the passenger is drunk or disturbed, just throw him off the Navy department, Marine base, or an Army base. Oh, no. Yeah, better yet, you just drop him off at the police department, huh? And drop this person off in a safe, public area where there are other people. No. Follow your carrier guidelines for dealing with unruly passengers, or do any of them above. The passenger drunk or disruptive may drop the person off at the next scheduled stop, drop the person off in a safe, public area where there are other people. That would be the one. That would be one. No. It would be all of them, actually. It would be all of them. For the simple fact that dropping a person on the next scheduled stop, or drop the person in a safe public area, or follow a carry guideline deadline with unruly passengers. It would be all above, because the drunk, disruptive passenger that have few options of safety of all concern, he wouldn't care what he think or would do because he's not influenced by alcohol. If it's possible, like people that drink, this is 105 East Hamlet, this is people that are disruptive in services that may be under influence of alcohol. They don't remember the next day. They have to wake up and sober up the next day and realize what happened and what they did. But this passenger is drunk or disruptive anyway. If you're a drunk or disruptive passenger, you have a few options for safety for all concerned. All possible, follow your carrier's guidelines for dealing with such passenger. Otherwise, you may drop the passenger off the next scheduled stop, or even in clean, well-lighted place where there are many people. You drop them off at Safeco Field or downtown Seattle in a full, gigantic 5 million population, 9 million population, presidential campaign day, and that's the best you can do. Now, before leaving your stop, you should blink. Make sure all passengers are sitting down. Wait for a sufficient gap in traffic. Start and pull out as soon as you signal. Assume other drivers will yield to you. Now, before you leave your stop, this is a question. Before you leave your stop, you should make sure all passengers are sitting down. Wait for all your passengers sitting down and buckled up is what you do. Before you leave or stop, you should make sure all passengers are sitting down and buckled up. Wait for sufficient gap in traffic as well. Start to pull out as soon as you signal. Assume other drivers will yield to you. No. You make sure all your passengers are sitting down and buckled up, and you wait for sufficient gap in traffic is what you do. You know the big gap in traffic your bus needs to, of course, merge into traffic before you can pull out of a bus stop, and must wait for a large enough gap in traffic. Never assume that other drivers will brake to let you into traffic. During pre-trip inspection, you should sign the previous driver report only if, this question. Driving pre-trip inspection, you should sign the previous driver report only if you know the previous driver personally, that you trust him or her. You have personally witnessed all the defects listed on the report being repaired. The defects listed on have been certified as either repaired or not to be repaired. No defects are listed on it. Now, which one would it be? During the pre-trip inspection, you should sign the previous driver report only if the defects are listed have been certified as either repaired or not needing to be repaired is the one. Don't sign the previous driver inspection report unless the defects listed on it have been certified as either repaired or need to be repaired. You will, of course, perform your own pre-trip inspection. Before you start to drive, you must inspect all of the following except windshield wipers, the steering mechanism, the AM/FM radio, the parking brake. Before you start to drive, you must inspect all the following except the AM/FM radio. That would be one. Before you start to drive, you must check all critical systems such as steering, brakes, tires, emergency equipment, and ensure that you were properly. For passenger safety, also check such interior items as seats, handholds, railings, signal devices, emergency exits. FM or DVD music is nice, but you can safely drive your passenger to the destination without it. Blank. This is another question. You must blank must be closed when the bus is in motion. This question. Blank must be closed when bus is in motion. The roof hatches, the driver's window, all the windows, the emergency window. That would be the emergency window must be closed when the bus is in motion. The emergency windows of the doors must be closed while the bus is being driven. Another question. Traffic light on drawbridge is green. You should blank. Speed as fast as possible during that duration? Or should you wait for the time of discrepancy to move into that individual process of accelerating? No. The question is, traffic light on the drawbridge is green. You should slow down and make sure it's safe to proceed. Stop and wait for the attendant instruction. Cross as fast as possible. Stop at least 100 feet before the drawbridge. It would slow down and make sure it's safe to proceed would be the one. You don't want to have to stop at a drawbridge, but if you have a green light, there is a attendant or traffic officer present. However, you should still slow down and make sure the drawbridge is closed and then safe to drive on before you proceed to cross it. If the bus starts to lean toward the outside of the bank curve, you know you're driving too fast. Now air brakes. You got air brakes. A tractor protection valve. Number question, the air brake test. The tractor protection valve will close automatically if the air supply drops to a certain level. The tractor protection valve provides the air supply for brake system. The tractor protection valve closes automatically if the air supply drops to a certain level. It will close if you apply the parking brakes. It provides air supply to the brake system. That'd be all above. It closes on the valve closes automatically and the air supply drops to the certain level. It closes the supply braking brakes. It provides air supply to the brake system. This tractor protection valve provides your air brake system, provides air supply, closing automatically, and air supply drops to a low and closing to applying parking brakes. That's what that does. Which vehicle must have low air pressure warning signals? That's a question. Which vehicles must have low air pressure signals? Vehicles built 2010 must have low air pressure warning signals. All vehicles and air brakes currently in operation must have low air pressure warning signals. None. Low air pressure warning signals are optional. Vehicles built 2000 must have low air pressure warning signals. Now, which one would be? All vehicles with air brakes currently in operation must have low pressure warning signals. None low air pressure warning. Vehicles after 2000 have low air pressure warning. Vehicles are 2000 must have low air pressure warning signals. Now that would be all vehicles and air brakes currently in operation have low pressure warning signals. All vehicles in the road have air brakes must have low air pressure signals. Well, that's just the beginning. What is the following? There's another question. What is the following a drum brake? What is the following not part of a drum brake? A brake drum, a return spring, a safety valve, a slack adjuster? Would that be a return spring, a brake drum, a safety valve, a slack adjuster? Which of the following is not part of the drum brake? The safety valve connects the systems and controls air pressure. The return spring is a pinion system for corporates for the on and off and relieving. The brake drum does connect to the brake. The brake drum is the drum brake. And the slack adjuster is connected to the adjusting systems to the brake drum. So what that would be, which of the following is not part of the drum system? So that if we tear this engine apart, let's tear apart this bus, this people bus. When it pulls up over at the mayor's house, we're going to break down all the system, the ABS system, which is the valve system. We're going to pull off the valve cover, and we're going to use it evident against them in the court, because the place that they carry the ABS system, the brake drum system, we're going to take the safety valve. That's what it is. Which of the following is not part of the brake system? That'd be the safety valve. Is that correct? That is correct. Drum brakes which of these vehicle axles and contains about 10 different parts. So we're going to take these 10 different parts and take all these parts and take it apart in front of the FBI, the CIA, and administration, prosecutor's office, administration office, all these people that just starts fights and confrontations in front of everybody. In front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because the drum brakes and vehicle's axles contain 10 different parts, including the axle, slack adjust, the brake drum, and while the safety valve is part of the air brake system, is a part of the, of course, the drum brake. Yeah, we're going to put that in wide open. Because if the air tanks, there's another question. If the air tanks are not drained, what does happen? The transmission fluid may drain out. The brakes might fail because of the water freezing. The left side brake will cease to operate. You will drive too quickly. If the air brakes are not drained, the brakes may fail because of the water freezing. That's what's going to happen. The air tanks hold a mixture of water and compressed oil. The lift inside to collect at the bottom. The water may freeze and cause brake failure. The following are true about dual air brake systems. Usually one system, there's another question. Which of the following is true about dual air brakes? Usually one system operates front axle and the other one operates the rear axle. The system is called primary system and the other is called secondary system. It uses a single set of brakes controls. That's all above, actually. Because when you're a mechanic, fleet mechanic, and you're in aviation compound facilities and services, helicopters, Apache, Chinooks, C-17s, the Hercules, also the drones, and their system in the Boeings and 747s, and also the Dreamliner would be South Carolina, Northrop Grumman, and any of those services or compound services that we know. It would be usually that operates the front axle and operate the rear axle. That operates the following of true about the dual air brake system. It's all of it. One system, the primary system and secondary system, the single set of brake controls, that'd be all above. Dual brake system is a system designed safety used for most heavy-duty vehicles. It uses a set of controls. Typically, primary system operates regular brakes and rear axles. Secondary systems operates rear and regular brakes on front axles. Anti-lock brake system, ABS. That's another question. Shorten your stop distance. The ABS shortens the stop distance. Activates when your wheels are about to lock up. Increase your normal brakes capability. Decreases your normal brake capability. That's all above. But it does activate your wheels and are about to lock up. It stops your wheels to lock up. If you take a Ferrari or a Spider suspension or a Dodge Viper, a Porsche 911 or Porsche Collector Edition, Mr. Bill Gates, of course, or a BMW or Jaguar or a Mercedes-Benz, it's an ABS system. Anything that imitates for about to lock up, and when it locks up, it causes a jackknife or an accident. It's called the ABS system. What it is it activates your wheels are about to lock up. It's an anti-lock brake ABS system. It activates your wheels when they're about to be locked up. ABS is effective everyday driving. The brave people that does this. Braking capability or necessary shorten stopping distance. Helps you keep control of your vehicles by activating when the wheels are about to lock up. Which of the following is not part of the air brake system? Emergency brake system, radio signal system, service brake system, parking brake system? That would be the radio signal. The AM/FM radio is nothing to do with this brake system. Simple distraction in what it is. The air brake system is made up of three systems. The service brake system, and emergency brake system. Before the knowledge of the test, review the Washington State Department, DOL, Department of Licensed Commercial Driver Guide to familiarize yourself with what each of these does. Or you can go to Sean Logan's house and have everything broken down in pieces, the services, right in broad daylight. In front of the judges, Chief Justice Department, prosecutors, commissioners, judges of panels in Seattle, Tacoma, Spokane, and Kennewick, Kirsten, Pasco, and Annie Miller's office. And take this agent upstairs and memorize. Take the fire department and the administration office because this house is caught on fire, engulfed on fire. The Chevron gas station caught on fire, and also Sunset Acres has a control burning permit, and Saddleback Mountain was caught on fire. Thousands upon thousands of acres, and that's Fire Department 5. That's Gary, Erica, and Tom. And we're going to have to leave a message in service at Sunny Farms. We're going to have to call State Patrol, U.S. Marshal's office, the Kennedy's building, and the Appeals office, and all the Judge Administration office, and have contact this Administrative Rights and Services, and this guy that's sitting in uniform and services, starting to conversate and start problems in his history, and have a file and affidavit downloaded on this system right here in the Washington Bar Association. Mrs. Vasquez and Mr. Vasquez, and the courtroom and services and all the systems. This is initial drop maximum capacity leakage after per rate. Listen, air brakes. After initial drop of maximum acceptable leakage rates per minute, is it 5 PCI for signal vehicles or 6 PCI for combination vehicles? No. Is it 5 PCI for signal vehicles or 10 PCI for combination vehicles? No. Is it 3 PCI for singles? Is it 3 PCI for single vehicles or 4 PCI for combination vehicles? Is it 1 PCI for single vehicle or 3 PCI for combination vehicles? After initial drop, maximum acceptable leakage rates per minute is 3 PCI for single vehicles and 4 PCI combination for vehicles. That's the one. After initial drop, maximum acceptable leakage rates per minute, 3 PCI and single vehicles for 4 PCI combination vehicles, and leakage rate is higher. Checks for leaks and correct them. How would you check your trucks and slack adjusters? Well, your truck and slack adjusters, for one. You take your compound interest and the APR rate, and they have a service for the increments of service of like putting a dead carcass in a body bag, of course a dead body in a carcass, and zip it up in a body bag, and of course in front of millions of people, and their service on the slacker. Would you check your truck's slacker adjusters? That's the question. Use gloves to pull the hard on each slacker adjuster when you can reach it. Or press the brake pedal while listening for a strange noise. Or accelerate and then brake hard. No. Or all above. Which one would you do? You know, the answer is use your gloves to pull hard on each slacker and as you can reach it. That's the one. How would you check your truck's slack adjuster? Use your gloves and pull hard on each slack adjuster and can reach. Check the slack adjusters. Try to pull on them manually while wearing gloves. There is an inch or more to give. There is an issue you should be fixed. You should have it fixed. Which of the following is a part braking process for driving tractor-trailer combination vehicles, which is anti-lock braking system, ABS? Listen to this question. Which of the following is not part of the braking process while driving tractor-trailer combination vehicle or anti-lock braking system, ABS? You should drive fast so you will be able to keep the trailer and the tractor straight. Now, which is not part of the braking process? That would be one. That's that's number one question, right? That one. You should drive faster so you will be able to keep the trailer on the tractor straight. No. This is not a locomotive train. See, when somebody's in front of the tracks, the train will not stop. It keeps on going. You should drive faster so that you will be able to keep the trailer and tractor straight on the railroad track so you don't derail. That would be a train perspective. That would be a locomotive perspective. Unless you're a tank. If you have an Abram tank with 2 jet engines, 0 to 65 miles an hour, and that's the speed, 0 to 65 miles with 2 jets on an Abram tank, at Desert Lawn Memorial, which is Jay Mueller, Frank Kamuska, Rhonda Kaiser, Moses Lake, Grant County, Daniel Garth, Andy Miller's office, Andy Miller at CO Benton, Washington, come to you live on YouTube, Facebook. You should drive faster so that you will be able to keep the trailer on tractors. This is not part of the braking system of your driving tractor and trailer combination vehicle of anti-lock brake system ABS policy. That would be the one. When driving tractor combination vehicle ABS, drive safe the way always. Do not drive any difficulty just because of ABS. Only use braking necessary to keep control. Pay attention when you slow down. Brakes the same way regardless of what you're driving. Never speed up. Slack adjusters are between the power screw and push rod and disc brake. The part of the air brake system is used to adjust the brakes between the push rods and S-cam on drum brakes. That's what the slack adjusters are. They're between the power screws and the push rods of the disc brakes. Part of the air brake system is used to adjust the brakes between the push rods and S-cams on drum brakes. That's all of them. Slack adjusters are an important part of your air brake system. Also allows adjusts and brakes to ensure that they are safe. They are locked in different places depending on the type of brakes that you have. When you should drain your air brakes at the end of each, when should you drain? You should at the end of each workday, at the end of a trip, at the end of the month, at the end of a physical quarter, That would be the end of a workday. That would be the one. Unless the vehicle is automatically drained the air tanks, and you should drain them at the end of each workday. So the moisture in the oil will not freeze or colligate and cause your brakes to fail. What is the measurement of safety valve usually set to open? At 150 PSI, at a 250 PSI, 100 PSI, or 200 PSI? Professional fleet mechanic opinion would be 150 PSI was at the measurement safety valve usually set to open is 150. The safety valve protects the system formally except pressure usually set to open when the system reaches 150 PSI. What is the best way to test your vehicle's spring brakes come on automatically? The single vehicles can continue to step on and off the brake pedal until the parking brake valve pops out, or continue to step on or off the brake pedal until the manufacturer low PSI specification is met for spring brake to deploy, or on a tractor trailer vehicle continue to step on and off the brake pedal until the parking brake valve pops out. In all aspects, for the best way to test your vehicle spring brake comes on automatically, that would be the single vehicle continue to stop and on off the brake pedal until the parking brake valve pops out. The track continue to step on and off the brake pedal until the manufacturer low PSI specification is met for spring brake to deploy. The tractor trailer vehicle continues to step on and off brake pedal until the parking brake valve pops out. That's all of them. That'd be all above. Both tractor trailers and single vehicles test whether the brake system automatically use the method testing low air pressure, step on off brake pedal, and this time until they reach even low PSI, reading the parking brake valve close or pops out. How does brakes work on long, steep downgrades? You got a Freightliner, you got a Peterworth, you got a Kenworth, you got a Volvo, you got an automatic Volvo, you got a Peterbilt gears, you got International Freightliner gears. How do brakes work on long, steep downgrades? They work on supplemental to braking effect on your engine. Not optical, not braking effect is involved in your downgrade. They work as main braking mechanism. They work as a main brake mechanism with engine braking effect as an emergency backup. How do brakes work on a long, steep downgrade? It works as a maintaining braking mechanism, which the engine braking effect is an emergency backup. Or they work as a maintaining braking mechanism, or applicable to braking effect involved in a downgrade. Or they work as a supplement to braking effect of your engine. That would be the one, number one. That work as supplemental to braking your effect on your engine. So it don't break and wear tear in your engine, so it don't break and wear and tear on your brakes. And when that brake ABS system is broke, you set it for repair. It won't be broke. It won't be it won't be broke at all. It's just, at that time being, it can be called for. It's called work as a supplement of braking effect of your engine. How do brakes work on long, steep downgrades? It's a work of a supplement of braking effect of your engine. When driving down long, steep downgrades, braking effect engines is most important. Brakes only supplement the beginning in the proper low gear. You cannot compensate for your vehicle being unsafe high gear without putting too much pressure on your brakes. When should you use parking brakes? Only in urban areas where there are many other vehicles? Every time you leave your vehicle for a length of a time. Every time you leave your vehicle with a few exceptions. When should you use your parking brakes? When you leave your vehicle with a few exceptions. When you always use your parking brake, except when you the brakes are very hot, or there are wet and risk or freezing point, like 20 feet of snow, 40-foot drift, 40-foot snow drifts, 20 foot of snow and accumulated snow, and freezing rain and black ice. That's only time. Every time you leave the vehicle, a few exceptions when you should. You should always use the parking brake except when the brakes are very hot, or they are wet, or at risk or freezing. You must pass knowledge tests on air brakes, on all trucks and air brakes. Otherwise, you will not be able to obtain a CDL at all. Otherwise, you will be able to obtain a commercial learning permit. No. Otherwise, you will have to get a CDL with restrictions. That would be the one. You must pass the knowledge test on air brakes. Otherwise, you will have to get a CDL with restrictions. If you do not pass the air knowledge test, your CDL will include restriction L, which will limit you to drive vehicles without air brakes. So good luck on that one. Which of the following should you do before leaving your vehicle unattended? Remove your keys, cock the wheels to set parking brakes, close all windows, do all above. Which of the following before leaving your vehicle unattended? You remove those keys. And also cock those wheels, the parking brakes, and close all those windows. Because when you have any bears or wild cougars or mountain lions or wolverines or eagles or owls or stray canine dogs, sniffing drug dogs or canine dogs, or people or cops attacking you on sidewalks, or anybody that sick dogs on you or discretionary way, you do all above. You remove the keys, you cock the wheels of the parking area, you close all windows. And the vehicle unsafe, leaving unattended, able parking brakes and cock the wheels, close the windows and remove the keys are a simple safety tip for any vehicle and passenger car. That'd be all about move your keys, cock your wheels, and also close all windows would be the one. And also call your local representative services and for the duration of time of what happened at the time of moment on your phone. Immediately. At that time, during that second. The purpose of supplying pressure gauges is what? On what? To tell you how hot the air in the brake is? To tell you how much air is in the tank? To warn only if there is too little air in the tank? Or all above? It would be to tell you how much air is in your tank. That would be the purpose of the supplying pressure gauge, is to tell you how much air is in your tank. Which of the following can cause brakes to fade or fail? That would be brakes being out of adjust, excessive use of service brakes, not relying enough on engine braking. Which of the following can cause brakes to fade or fail? Braking's being out of adjustment, excessive use of service brakes, not relying enough on engine braking. That would be all above. Brake fade and failure usually due to incorrect use of brakes and cause excess heat. This may be causes the incorrect brake adjustments, not enough reliance on engine braking, excessive cost service brakes, another mechanical factor, or human error. Under which conditions are front wheels brakes good? None, all weather conditions, wet or icy conditions, good weather only. Under which conditions are front wheel brakes good for? All weather conditions. Front wheel brakes are shown on an ideal all weather condition driving conditions. Front wheel braking is unlikely to cause a skid or even on icy roads. Spring brakes are, question 1. Spring brakes are not going to take full effect until your PCI drops to a certain range, typically 20 to 30 PCI. Spring brakes are brakes that comes on automatically on a truck or tractor when the PCI drops too low. Spring brakes are made up of powerful springs that are held back by air pressure while you're driving. That's all above. That is all above, actually. That is all those questions are all above. That would be all of them. Pretty much mechanic, fleet mechanic services, elite services, and services for fly time, and also confiscate for the service of correcting a helicopter Apache or maintenance a Chinook or Air One or Air Force One in discrepancy. That would be all above. Spring brakes, important braking system, powerful springs, automatic applying brakes. A sense of air pressure has been lost in some reasons, such as leaks. They also have brakes and PCI gets too low or not ideal and should take control of air brakes before it happens. Before it happens. It's a true story.